What's your budget for sales? One of the things that you have to understand is how much money do you have at your disposal? Now, if you're running a company, a smaller company in particular, actually all companies have this, is that you know where you're at from a cash perspective. You know how much you have in the bank. You know how much you have in your payment platforms. You know how much you have in receivables. You know how much money exists out there. And you probably have some rough idea of what your runway is, right? So how long, if you generate no more business, will you just run out of money? When you're thinking about your sales budgets, it's very difficult, especially in tough times. And right now, we're in the middle of a pandemic. So right now, when I'm recording this, there's a pandemic, which means that money is actually is quite uncertain, right? So how's business going to be impacted if, we're in first wave or second wave or third wave of the pandemic? Is there shutdowns? Is there, opening up, people opening up again? Or, how comfortable is society with what we're doing? All of these questions make it difficult in the current times. Now, where I live, there's also been a recession for quite a few more years, even pre-pandemic. So there was other uncertainty that existed there. So now what we have to understand is how realistic is it for us to budget a year out, 2 years, 3 years out? I wouldn't spend much time on that. I would spend as much time as possible focused on the next quarter. What do you need to achieve in the next quarter? If you bring on a new salesperson, they should be up to speed within that quarter. So you should know that they're generating revenue, and that should be something that's predictable based on how it is that you've trained them. So if you have all these different elements, it's usually fairly predictable and fairly stable within the next 3 months. So focus your cash flow analysis relative to your budgeting on sales within that next 3 months. And you may, in uncertain times, need to subscribe to more expensive options within the tools that you use for your sales team to be month to month as opposed to annual contracts. If you have certain times, things are pretty stable, things are pretty solid, you have solid revenue, recurring revenue, well, then you might decide to save some money overall and go with some more long-term stability and sign one-year agreements with the tools that you use. But budgeting, I would stick to 3-month cycles with some kind of light projections beyond that.